Howdy folks, I'm Dubious Dubnium, doubtfully delivering delicious donuts.
I'm Amber.
And, if I were Dubnium, then I would be doubtfully delivering delicious donuts because they would be contaminated with the heavy metal dubnium. You sure you want some donuts? I've only handled them all. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Husband's Family That They Aren't Allowed Around My Newborn Anymore? I'm a 30-year-old female and I have a 6-week-old baby and just told my entire husband's family that they're not allowed around her at all until she's 6 to 12 months. I made this decision without my husband and I don't feel that I'm wrong at all, and I refuse to backpedal from my decision regardless of how it makes him feel. Long story short, both my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law came to see the baby last week, and a few days following this, the baby is super sick, super congested, fussy, puking, etc. I bring her to the doctors, and she's fine, but she has the upper respiratory infection. Doctors tell me to continue to breastfeed her on demand, and they gave her the RSV vaccination. Well, my husband called his mom when we were leaving the doctors, and he had her on speakerphone because his phone is busted and only works that way. He gives her the rundown on what's going on with the baby, and that's when she basically tells us that not only was she exposed to the flu by one of her clients, but apparently sister-in-law's husband had COVID the week prior to her coming to see the baby. Neither of them told us this when making the decision to come to meet our daughter. In fact, I specifically asked them if either of them were sick or around anyone who was, and they said no. They lied to me about it and continued their facade while at my home because my husband's other sister called while mother-in-law and sister-in-law were at my home and told her that she couldn't come over because her daughter had the flu and I wasn't chancing it. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law heard me say this on the phone and still made out like they hadn't been exposed to anything. Needless to say, I confronted them both via phone and I was met with a "You need to build babies' immune systems, blah blah blah, it's not a big deal, she will be fine," etc. etc. So I told them that neither of them were welcome here or around my daughter until she was 6 to 12 months old. If then, because they are just so selfish. My husband is absolutely mad right now. He says that I'm going to isolate him and make him depressed, and he has a history of depression, and that he needs his family, he's a big family man, and I'm selfish to do this to him right before their big family holiday celebrations, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I basically told him that I don't care. Our daughter is not becoming sick is my top priority, and his family doesn't care about that, so they aren't going to be around her. My friends also say that I'm wrong because this should be my husband's decision as well. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. While generally, in a lot of cases, parents should make decisions together, when it comes to the baby's health and life, I think the in-laws' lack of concern for her continued existence kind of supersedes anything else.
Yeah, I think if you have been exposed to something, then it's pretty much a good idea not to expose a newborn baby. This is a 6-week-old baby, and I think generally, I'm not a medical doctor or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that they recommend not to have kids that young exposed to stuff.
Yeah, because their immune system simply can't handle it. They haven't had any of the necessary vaccines or anything like that, too, for things like flu or whatnot. And it's just not a good thing.
No, and your child needs time to actually build up an immune system, like what she said, but if your child is sick, then their immune system is going to be exhausted. Babies have special needs over adults, and you can't just claim that, oh, you're building up the kid's immune system. Well, kids used to pass away very early on because people were sick a lot of times, and there weren't a lot of protections for them.
Yeah, infant mortality in days past was very high, and we kind of like to forget about that. And but there's a reason why it's much lower today, and it's due to protections and our better medical knowledge.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And ISD 444 says, "You're right. Sick and around 6-week-old baby. What were they thinking? Sorry, hubby. Baby girl first." And Springfield MO Daddy says, "Not the jerk. Keep your child safe. As the father, he should also be prioritizing to keep his child safe, but not everyone does the right thing. He is responsible for his own mental health and needs to navigate that appropriately. And Floating in the Void says, for real, he needs to go visit his family on his own and cleanse himself appropriately after these visitations. If he needs to be around them that bad, then he needs to take the proper steps to also keep his baby safe. Good job, OP. Don't back down. And 5NL007 says, not the jerk. RSV is no joke for infants, and you need to protect the baby's health. OP's husband can visit his family anytime by himself. And Amazing Cabinet 1404 says, I don't know that I would trust him to go visit them either, necessarily. With his family, you'd find out that they were also hosting his cousin Typhoid Mary during the visit. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I messed up by thinking that I got kicked out at 6, and eating from a trash can, drinking from the bathroom tap, and shoplifting a blanket. When I was 6 years old, I went to the shopping mall with my parents, which was on the opposite side of a large city. There were 3 levels in the shopping mall, and exiting them led to the same looking car parks. My parents parked the car on the 2nd floor. We had an understanding that if any of us got lost, then we would meet up in front of the car. I strayed off and I went back to the car, following protocol. Lo and behold, I searched all over the parking lot and I couldn't find the family car, not knowing that they were on the 2nd floor instead of the 3rd. I watched enough movies to understand that I must have been kicked out of the home. I had to adapt, I thought. So I drank water from the bathroom taps and I eyed the trash can to fish out freshly thrown out food. I also shoplifted a small blanket and set up a camp inside of a toilet cubicle. I did this for most of the day until my parents frantically found me by yelling my name inside the bathroom that I set camp up in. I left the blanket in the cubicle and I got out. I still keep this a secret from them to this very day. Alright folks, what do you think of this story?
It's an amusing story, so I just get a chuckle out of it. Like, it's interesting how our kid minds work. But, there were so many movies, like all the Home Alone movies and whatnot. So, like, I can see why a kid would think, oh, I guess my parents have left me, and now I just need to learn how to survive in the shopping mall.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a cute story, and I'm glad that OP's parents eventually found them.
Yeah.
That's what makes this funny and not a tragedy.
Yeah.
And I'm still living in the mall to this day. That would be less funny and more tragic. So anyhow, take care and good luck, OP. And Tor Bow says, happy ending though. Glad that they changed their minds. And Vordio says, yep, gives the rest of us hope that one day our parents will come back and we won't have to keep shanking 6-year-olds to get prime garbage cans. And Mr. Scripps says, Dad just texted that he finally found the cigs and milk at the store and will start making his way back any year now. And Soul Kane says, Bro was just gonna accept his fate. And Killer Infection says, honestly, if you can't fend for yourself by age 6, then you're just not gonna make it in this modern world. And Soul Kane says, what does that make me then? When I was 6, I got lost in the mall, and when my family found me, I looked them straight in the eyes and told them that they were the ones who got lost. Alright folks, and our last letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not allowing my, a 34-year-old male, wife, a 29-year-old female, to participate in any discussions regarding our car's insurance and financing? So I know the side title sounds a little rough, but I'm fairly certain that I'm in the right about this. So my wife is a 29-year-old female, and she's not a very good driver. To be fair, she's never really tried to learn after her grandmother passed away in a car accident in her youth. Her dad was driving, and it was all very traumatic. We lived in New York City for 10 years, so it was no big deal. We would take the subway and taxis and ride share when we needed. However, last year we finally bought a house in Texas, and now we need a car as well. I decided on the car. It's a bit out of our budget as it's a newer model, but it's a great car that will last us a long while. I also chose our insurance. My wife is mad as she does work as an insurance underwriter and wanted to review both of our loan and insurance details as she would be co-signing on the loan. I disagree. I'm passionate about cars and she has nothing to worry about. I work in insurance as well as a broker, so arguably I know just as much about auto coverage as she does. Where I might be the jerk is that my wife has pointed out my poor credit decisions in the past. My credit score is good now thanks to her help in paying down my $30,000 credit card debt. This was all more than 7 years ago, and we've been together since university, so more than 10 years now. So I don't think that it's fair bringing that up. She's threatening not to co-sign on the loan or pitch in any payments toward the car unless I allow her to carefully go over the terms. So Reddit, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, I think Oki's being a massive jerk here. Like, you can't expect someone to co-sign on a loan and just be like, oh, no, just trust me. Trust that this is fine.
Yeah, the trust me system is always the best one, right?
Like, if I have to incur a debt, you better believe I am going to, read those terms with, like, a fine-tooth magnifying glass. I don't know where it's going, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that if you're going to be co-signing a loan, that you know what the loan is all about. While you are a couple right now, something can always happen and you can have a falling out, or maybe one of you has a unfortunate accident and life happens, right? And in that case, what happens if she's stuck with this loan, right? I think that this is a situation where she is justified to want to take a look at the loan, and I think that if you need her to co-sign on this loan, then you have to allow her to read the terms like she wants. That's her terms for co-signing on this loan.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like Opie has a history of living outside his means, and he already says the car is kind of out of budget,
Yeah.
so he may just be trying to sweep the cost under the rug, and or if there's something in the terms, like the interest rates or something, just
Yeah.
if she doesn't see it, then I can just get the car I want and not have to worry about her.
Yeah, I like how he's like, oh, I trusted my wife enough that she helped me get back in good standing and credit, but now I don't trust her to review these financial documents. I'm good. It's like those people who kind of get too big for their britches, where where they relied on a lot of people in order to get where they are, and now that they're at the top, they're like, I don't need anyone's help anymore, even though they had all this help getting to the top.
Well, and I think some of it too is he may be well aware that his wife has legitimate concerns with the terms, and he's like, oh, well, she's going to nitpick it, and this is all based on her trauma. It's like, or she's more fiscally responsible than you and just doesn't want to sign whatever loan you throw her way.
Yeah, I think that I would want to review a loan if I were her, and it has nothing to do, it's just sometimes money decisions are something that you have to look over carefully, and that's really what it boils down to. I mean, I wouldn't be offended if I were OP. I would just accept that that's life, right? That's how money works. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Big Tree says, wait, you think your wife is a jerk for wanting to carefully read the terms of a contract that you expect her to sign? Are you serious? You're the jerk, dude. And OP replies, she took the lead on the mortgage and I stayed out of it. If she just wanted to look over the details, I would be okay with that. But my wife clearly has trauma regarding cars, and I'm afraid that she will look for any excuse to say that the terms aren't favorable and dip. I tried to buy a car in cash 3 years ago, and all her hemming and hawing scared away the seller, so it's a real possibility. And Basic Regret 6263 says, so buy it yourself, since your credit is so good now. And OP replies, the terms wouldn't be as great for a newer model if I took on the loan myself, but if it comes to it, then I just might. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. Amber has a joke, and we also have another joke.
Oh, do we now?
No, we have no other jokes.
Did you enjoy the movie Mr. Wolfman? Yes, I thought it was a howl.
Mr. Wolfman would think it was a howl. A howling good time. And I am Earl Grey.
What tea reigns supreme?
The tea of England.
Earl Grey.
Earl Grey? That makes sense.
See, I had to deliver because Brian made a promise, and so I am cleaning up his messes for you all.
Well, I didn't make a promise. I explicitly said there wasn't.
Well, first you promised people, so you got everyone's hopes up, and so I just wanted to make sure that everyone got their second joke.
Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, spectacular, special Sunday, or Saturday. It's Saturday. I thought it was Friday today. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a survival story.
This is neither moral advice nor guidance, but when I was probably about 6 or 7, I just like hanging out in my closet. That was the thing I used to do all the time. And my mom came looking for me, and she didn't think to check in my closet. And then she went out to check the neighborhood. And so I thought it'd be fun to play a little game where I would leave notes around the house as like so she could find me like a trail of clues. But my mom, in her panic state, went straight to the phone to call the police. And then I had to come out of my room and be like, "No, Mom, I'm right here."
And there you have it, folks. The moral of this story is don't hide on somebody when you're little and get your parents worried about you. So for all the little kids watching, which is exactly 0. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.